March 15th, 2021. The world is full of monsters. Of course there are. You may say, of course, there are a lot of evil people in the world. But I'm not talking about those monsters. The monsters I'm talking about are what you hear from those paranoid conspiracists and friends that are into the supernatural. You know, monsters from folklore such as Bigfoot, demons, and Wendigos. Unlike the monsters you've heard of such as Hitler or any other evil people in history, they are still no doubt human. These monsters rely on instinct and malice. Don't believe me? Don't care. The only reason I'm posting this shit in Wattpad because I'm bored as hell, and the pandemic isn't really helping my case. So whether you believe this is real or not isn't really my problem. Although, that being said, whether you believe me or not, the future stories I'm typing here are all real. Who knows? You might be able to learn something and may be able to save your hide in the future. But before I could go any further, this is sensitive information that the government is trying to hide. So for your safety, I suggest you don't start snooping around. Trust me, there was someone snooping around and taking photos near the Hunter base, and he got shot by a sniper. The government doesn't give a crap of who you are. You could be someone important for all they care. So why am I telling you private information that only a few government officials know about? Like I said, I'm doing this for entertainment purposes, and there isn't any harm by telling you. Only if you start doing stuff you shouldn't, or it starts to become a problem. And don't worry about my safety. The government doesn't care if I tell you all. Probably due to the majority of you probably thinking that this is just fiction. Hell, there was even a guy I know literally bragging to everyone private information, and I see he's still alive and kicking. However, with the minor details aside, you should know that I've encountered many monsters due to my occupation. What occupation, you may ask? Well, my occupation is to hunt monsters. I can't tell you my real name due to private reasons, but you may refer to me as Anon for anonymous. I know, how original. I'm in my mid-20s, male, and I practically live in a van. That's all for me for now. I'll update if I feel like it, so don't get your hopes up. Also, you may notice some grammar errors or misspelling. However, I'm way too busy with my job. I'm a hunter, not a writer. March 17th, 2021. Just yesterday, I went to investigate a forest to find a monster with deer antlers, as multiple witnesses claimed. They posted their encounter online. I received word from HQ that the eyewitnesses are all teenagers, so it might be a prank. However, they wanted to make sure just in case. Usually, they would send the BI, or the Beast Investigators. These are the people that HQ sent to investigate an area where people claim they spot some kind of creature. After properly identifying the monster, they call HQ to report their findings, and HQ then sent a proper hunter to deal with it. Another important job they do is actually find out whether it's real or not. It's very important because do you have any idea how many times we receive info that leads to nowhere? In fact, from what I've heard back at the Monster Hunter program, where we briefly learned the history of the hunters that came before us, the instructor told us that they keep getting falsely misled by the locals while the real monsters roam freely. To solve this problem, they established the BI in 1847, but that's enough of history. The reason they didn't send the BI in the scene because there are none available that was near the area, and all other availables are way too far. However, I was the closest one to investigate, and if it's true, hunt the creature. A pain in the ass, but a job's a job. Now, back to the monster. Eyewitnesses' description of the monster is very similar to a Wendigo's appearance. Lucky for me, Wendigos aren't very tough to find. All you need to do is go deeper into the forest and find multiple ravaged animal carcasses. However, despite being 3 kilometers away from civilization, I haven't found a single animal corpse or a blood trail. They intentionally make a lot of mess and blood trails to lead humans, so, well, I think you can figure that out. I knew I was wasting my time, but I continued to search, even camping in my van in the forest at night where they are most active. But still, nothing. Morning came, and I was annoyed that not just my time was wasted, but also getting my hopes up. I reached for my phone and called HQ. This is HQ. A mission was just a false alarm, nothing to report, I said. I see. We apologize for your inconvenience. This case is closed for now. Do whatever you please until you receive a new case. Best luck to you, Monster Hunter. Roger that. With that, I ended the call. I sat in the driver's seat, bored out of my mind, and still irritated that my time was wasted by a bunch of kids who don't know what to do with their time. I heard there was a bar near my area, so I should check it to lift my spirits up. So I'll be heading there now, so I think this will be all I type today because I'm going to get wasted. Too bad I didn't get any action today. Maybe at the next log I will. Everything feels really floaty. I don't know how much drinks I had because I feel extremely numb. Now thanks to that, my vision looks really funny. I really feel weird. I don't know why, but I gotta go back to I gotta go to Hush Falls. March 18th, 2021. The last chapter I wrote wasn't actually a log, but it was some ramblings of a man that had far too many drinks. To be honest, I wasn't planning on drinking that much. I know the last log I said I was gonna get wasted, but I didn't really mean it. Thank God that I only posted something embarrassing in public rather than do something reckless. I think I'll leave the drunk rambling there to remind myself not to make the same mistake. Anywho, nothing eventful happening. Nothing happened. This is more to explain what happened to my floaty experience. Think whatever ramblings I typed was nothing. Oh god, this hangover sucks. Oh god, I think I'm gonna throw up. March 20th, 2021. I just woke up and I decided to type. I have nothing to do this past couple of days. I need to do something that helps me relax after the nightmare I had last night. I don't remember much about it, except I was in a town that I've never been to, I think. That town, even though I've never been to it, it feels familiar. I don't remember much, except seeing unpleasant things. Anyways, so far my morning has been uneventful. I'll write something again if something interesting ever happens. I just received a new case to do that was given to me in about 2 hours after my first paragraph. This is not exactly a perfect copy of my conversation with HQ, but I think it's close enough. Hello? I said, answering my phone. This is Hunter's HQ. We have a mission for you, a monotone voice called out. I wonder why dispatchers always sound so bored. Probably because they don't get any action and just sit in a chair all day. About time. What type of monster is it? We don't know. I raised a brow and put my drink down, now taking this seriously. Their usual monotone voice now full of concern. You don't know. Then send a BI agent or something, I inquired. HQ wouldn't just give me a mission without knowing the cryptid I'm facing, unless they would send me there to investigate and kill the creature. We did. However, they never reported back. After they said that, it was silent, and suddenly the room became a bit more cold. BI agents aren't strong as hunters, but their skills are so great that they make US Marines look like Boy Scouts by comparison. Not to mention, unlike some hunters such as I myself go solo, they usually work in groups, but mostly commonly 3. For them to suddenly just... While the deaths of BI do happen, it's because they faced a powerful monster or worked alone. How many agents were there? 4. Shit. That means I'm dealing with a powerful monster, probably a B class, or if I'm unlucky, an A class. Either way, I'm gonna get a one hell of a beating. Alright, I understand. I'll do the mission, I said aloud. Do you require backup? No. I'll handle this on my own. It was silent for a moment before a deep sigh came out of the dispatcher. Very well. The mission's next location is in a forest in Pacific Northwest. We'll send you in the exact coordinates later. Before I end the call, we will send you a file from a recording sent to us by one of the BI agents on the mission. However, the contents are disturbing. It's not necessary for you to listen. It just there to give you a clue of what kind of monster you are dealing with. They paused for a moment. That is all. Best of luck to you, Monster Hunter. Then the call ended. Pacific Northwest, huh? It will take me a few days to get there at the location I'm at. I felt excited. Don't get me wrong, I was scared, but the excitement was stronger than the fear. You might think I'm crazy, and I probably am, but you have no idea how fun killing these massive, terrifying creatures could be. I was always a detached person. I mean, when my parents were killed and eaten in front of me, I didn't feel anything. You know what? Yeah, I'm probably insane. While I do enjoy things that normal people tend to enjoy, I feel like that fun that normal people have been doing these days have been numbed. Like, I don't enjoy it as much. The only thing I feel that gets my blood pumping is slaying those monsters. It makes me feel alive. Which is kinda ironic because just one mistake can lead my throat getting slashed and my body devoured. But I still enjoyed it. I don't know why. Probably because of the crazy serum did to me. Anyway, enough talking about my depressing past. The audio recording they sent me was pretty disturbing. I'll repeat what it is they said in there in written form, but be warned, the contents are disturbing. If you're queasy with this kind of crap, then just go to the next log and leave. This is exactly the audio recording.
Shit, motherfucker nearly killed me.
The speaker was male and sounded to be in his mid-30s.
HQ, if you're hearing this, then we'll probably be dead.
He paused for a moment before speaking once more.
Sorry, I thought I heard something. The bastard got all of us. I'm the last one remaining. Can't believe they got Danny too. HQ, I identified the monster. It's...
Suddenly, before he could finish, a loud roar could be heard. Suddenly, I heard rapid footsteps right after. Judging by the rapid footsteps and the timing of the roar, I'm guessing the monster spotted the man and he started running. He continued running while the roars could be heard, but getting less louder. After a few minutes of heavy breathing and rapid footsteps, he suddenly stopped. He was again silent, aside from his breathing. He waited for a couple more seconds before letting out a sigh of relief. He was interrupted when a loud noise could suddenly be heard, but this time right next to him. All could be heard is the man screaming, as well as those sick wet sounds coming out from the audio. After a few minutes of wet sounds and the screaming, it went silent. But before the audio ended, the beast's loud footsteps can be heard before the audio abruptly ends. Poor bastards. I've been preparing my gear as well as theorizing what the monster could be. I'm gonna hit the road now. Hopefully, I get there faster so I could end the creature's existence and give the team peace. They deserve it after the shit they go through. Wish me luck, and I'll see you in the next log. March 21, 2021. I'm currently on break after driving for several hours. By tomorrow, I should be able to reach my destination. Since I'm driving around, I'm pretty sure things will be uneventful. But I'll give you readers a prize for sticking with me this long. The prize is that I will show you, or rather, tell you my weapons I store in my van. Disappointed? Well, don't worry, it will really be fun. Being a monster hunter, I'll have to face creatures that are even worse than your nightmares. So, the government gave us high quality weapons that you've never seen before. Even some stuff that are illegal due to how dangerous the weapons are. You buy these weapons by going to one of our bases and you have to purchase them. However, the downside is that they are very expensive to the average Joe. Buying a weapon varies depending on how powerful and effective it is, but the common price is $5,000 to $10,000, and those are just the common ones. Now, enough with the weapon prices. It's time to tell you the weapons I have. One of my favorite weapons to bring in the field is my lovely sawn-off double-barreled shotgun. It's always satisfying every time I blow up a monster's face. Additionally, I could wield it like a pistol. Another weapon I use is a sniper. Specifically, I use a Barrett M82. Although I don't really use it that much. While a sniper isn't a very important tool for a monster hunter, it doesn't suit my fighting style. I prefer up close in person rather than killing my prey at a distance. I have a variety of knives and machetes to use when the bastards are up my face. I also have a couple of pistols lying around for emergencies, a katana to mess around, but my favorite weapon that I always use is one of the unique weapons created by the government, saber arms. You know the gunblade from Final Fantasy? It's basically that. Before you say something that the government wouldn't create something ridiculous like that, well, you are wrong. As long as it works and is an effective tool, the government will make anything. While I usually work alone, occasionally I'll work with other hunters when facing a difficult monster, and one time I worked with a girl about the same age as me who was wielding a ridiculous giant anime sword and actually able to swing it. I wonder if she was one of those kids at the program with me. Would probably explain her strength. Then there was some dude wielding a 5-barreled shotgun that shoots at the same time. Again, he was probably a kid back in the program, because his shoulder should have been shattered from the recoil. There are only 100 of us in the program, and only a few made out alive. How can I be so bad at remembering them? Oh well, whatever. Back to my lovely mistress of death. Unlike the gun blade from Final Fantasy, is that the barrel of the gun is horizontal and part of the guard. The blade was similar to a katana, except a bit shorter. Additionally, there are different types of saber arms. There is the pistol version, revolver, etc. I chose the revolver one, of course. You probably have a good idea of what the saber arms is used for. The gun part attacks the opponent when they are far away or fleeing, and the blade part is when they want to get closer to you. That's pretty much all my weapons. Okay, I have a lot more listed on, but they aren't as important as the ones mentioned. Anywho, that's all. Break time is over. I have to go back to the road again. As predicted, nothing happened that much, although I did spot a cute waiter when I visited a cafe during the breaks. Anyways, it's night now. Gotta sleep, gotta go to bed. See you guys at the next log. March 22, 2021. This will be a short log. I arrived at my destination not long after I started writing this. I was hoping to arrive in the morning, but it's almost sunset. But this also works for me. While it's risky to fight the unknown monster at night, it definitely saves me the trouble of fighting them, due to most monsters being active at night. However, the problem is, I didn't sleep that much. I was rushing to get here, and I have been driving a lot. So before I head to the monster's last location, which was nearing a hiking site, I'm going to catch some Z's. I already prepared my weapons and some other stuff. Anyway, I'm sleepy as hell now. Anyways, wish me luck, and I'll see you guys in the next vlog. Good night. March 23, 2021. Hey folks, I just killed the bastard, and it roughed me up pretty good. I would have written this last log, but I wanted to rest my body after the battle. Now then, this is what happened last night. Last log, I decided to rest before facing the monster. When it was nighttime, I left my van, grabbing my saber arms, 3 knives, and my sawed-off shotgun, and headed off the hiking trail. Eventually, I reached the location where the agents began their investigation on the unknown monster. Ironically, I arrived at the location at 3 a.m. I took in a deep sniff at the air. It was faint from where I was standing, but I could smell blood and fresh dead bodies. I followed the horrid stench. It was still disgusting to sniff out the dead bodies and the blood. Even when I got used to the smell, I said I would rather rip my nose off than sniff any more of this horrid smell. But I recognized the importance of my enhanced smell. It saves the trouble of finding the dead bodies, and makes it easier to track the monsters. As I followed the scent, each step I made, the smell got stronger, and not even a few minutes later, in the bushes, I found 3 corpses. All 3 corpses were mangled that it was difficult to tell what was their face or even their gender is. One of them had a missing torso. One was missing an arm. There were a lot of body parts missing from the agents. The bastard cleaned up most of the blood, which means this monster is intelligent. The monster probably ate the missing body parts, while the remaining ones were hidden so no one can find them. The monster was probably intending to eat the rest later. I quickly noticed that a body was missing. In the report, there were 4 agents missing, and I only found 3. I first thought that the monster finished the 4th body whole, but as I searched the area for more clues, I noticed that the grass was covered in blood near a hiking trail. And not just that, it was a blood trail that leads deeper in the woods. I see. So it's trying to lead off curious hikers and go to its habitat. Smart, I said to myself. Knowing it was a trap, I followed the trail, but not before holding firmly to my saber arms that was strapped in my waist, ready to unsheath if the monster ambushes me. As I slowly tread the dark woods, I tried sniffing out the beast's location. However, couldn't make out anything. After minutes of walking, I soon found a small cave enough to house 2 humans. The cave was covered with long grass moss and surrounded by a few thin trees. It would be difficult to be noticed, especially in the dark. However, thanks to my enhanced eyesight that gives me a similar view to night vision, I know you guys are confused with my unnatural abilities, but I'll tell you later in the log. But for now, let me tell you how I fought the beast. As I approached the cave, I suddenly halted my movement. I smelled dirt, blood, and body odor. And also, thanks to my enhanced hearing, I was able to tell there was movement. All those sounds and smells are coming from behind me. I just stood there, trying to anticipate the most likely next move of the monster. The only sound I could hear was the leaves and branches rustling from the wind. But soon, I started walking once more, trying to act naturally. If the monster is smart, then just standing there doing nothing will seem unsuspicious. As I continued to get closer to the grave, the quiet sounds of rustling and the smell of dirt and blood came after me, and even got closer. In a quick motion, I unsheathed my saber arms and using the gun part to shot the thing behind me. I got an immediate response after my fire. A loud roar could be heard not even a few feet behind me. I couldn't really see much due to it behind the thick trees, but what I could see was it was incredibly hairy and massive. However, before I could properly identify the monster, it quickly fled. In response, I chased the creature. It was fast, way too fast for even an athlete to catch up, especially because of how dark it is and the trees that are blocking our way. The only reason I'm able to keep up is that I'm using my smell and hearing to track it. For its size, it's quite agile, evading the trees quite easily. The chase lasted a minute before we stopped, and I quickly noticed why. Unlike the area where I was previously, which was cramped by the trees and other stuff, however, we are now on open field, giving us more room to tear ourselves apart. The monster led me here, knowing that he couldn't sneak up on me, and decided to use this area to use its agility better. Speaking of the creature, it turned to face me, revealing what the monster was. It was nearly 8 foot tall and had a very muscular body, black fur, and deep red eyes. It was a Sasquatch, or more commonly known, Bigfoot. No wonder it was smart. Bigfoot is just basically a gorilla but on steroids, and as smart as a normal human being. as expected of a B-class monster. Just by its appearance alone can give any veteran hunter shivers. I noticed its left shoulder was a fresh bullet wound that was most likely from me. It growled, eyeing me while probably forming strategies to beat me. The hairy mother trucker probably realizes I'm no ordinary human, and so stay in safe distance. I myself is also strategizing a way for me to beat this monster. The glorified gorilla roared before charging at me. In response, I readied my saber arms for any future attack. The Sasquatch, in a quick motion, grabbed a big handful of dirt in his hand and threw it at me, blocking my vision temporarily. The short amount of time was enough for the Sasquatch, as I felt the air leave my lungs as Bigfoot used its arms to batter me away, sending me crashing into a tree. Thank goodness I wasn't a normal human. My vital organs would have been crushed by that one hit, but instead, only giving me a big bruise to the stomach. I ignored the pain and got back up. The hairy monster growled before looking at the fallen thin tree. It roared as it grabbed a hunk of wood, intending to use it as a weapon. I dashed at the Sasquatch, resulting in the beast charging at me. As we were a mere feet away, Bigfoot swung the tree horizontally at me. However, my smaller size allowed me to slip under the tree and go under the giant's legs. Immediately cut the left leg's tendon, causing the monster to fall on its knees. Bigfoot's muscular system is similar to ours, just a more stronger version of a gorilla's. So finding the tendon of the monster wasn't difficult, and like gorillas and humans, from what I learned back in the program, the reason why Sasquatches are so difficult to kill is because of their thick muscles. However, their tendons are their weak spots. So if any of you folks have the unfortunate luck of encountering these gorilla steroid punks, remember to hit them in the tendons. It might not kill them, but it definitely increases your chance of survival. Back to the fight. Before it can recover from the damage, I immediately cut the other tendon in the other leg, causing the monster to roar out in pain. It swung its arms wildly in a desperate attempt to hit me. I was unlucky as one of the arms hit me, causing me to flap in the air and harshly hit the ground. Just by typing this, my injuries flared up. However, unlike the first hit, it wasn't as strong as before, and I was relatively unharmed. Using its powerful arms, it turned to face me and roared at me in anger and spite. His right hand clenched to a fist and pulled his arm up to the air, ready to smash me. But before he could do so, I reached for my shotgun and shot twice at the monster's face. Since I was only a foot away, the shotgun did massive damage as before it covered its face. I saw that it messed up its nose, took out both of its eyes, and even some parts of its face showed bones underneath the damaged skin. It let out the loudest roar in the fight and covered its face to protect itself. I used this to my advantage. I reloaded my shotgun and shot him again and again and again and again and again until its body is full of holes and damaged skin tissue. It was wobbling around, probably because of the huge amount of blood it's losing. And then it lost consciousness. Finally, I went for the kill. I got closer and pressed both of my saber arms and my shotgun to its head. I then pulled the trigger at the same time. It was silent again, as the famous Bigfoot, or rather one of the Bigfoots, are dead in my feet, lying in their own pool of blood. I made sure they were dead, shooting and stabbing it a couple of times. If you think that's excessive or brutal, you can ticket that up to my instructors back at the program. Anyway, I texted HQ on my phone that said, "Mission complete. Monster killed. 3 bodies, found 1 presumably eaten. Monster Sasquatch." I sent it the message and sighed. And it brings us all back here in the present. I am currently patching my wounds. Thanks to my rapid healing and enhanced durability, I would be back in top shape in just a few days. Now then, time to give out some prizes after sticking with me this long in this long log. Now, a brief history of the Sasquatches. We actually found them earlier than the first video evidence of Bigfoot, and during that time, researchers formed theories of how the Sasquatch came to be. The first theory is that they were once normal apes, but then got experimented on, which resulted in intelligence that rivals man and brute strength that could put grizzly bears to shame. Then the second theory is that they're aliens. Just aliens. The last one, and the most likely one, is that back at the Ice Age times, when we were just cavemen, most of the group stuck together and evolved into what they are today, humans. However, a small group of Homo sapiens went to a different direction than our ancestors did and went to a dangerous place. That dangerous place made them evolve into the Sasquatches. While that theory could be the actual truth, it's still just a theory, so take it with a grain of salt. Unlike humans, they are not very social to each other and tend to avoid one another species, only interacting when mating or fighting for territory. That's why every time I hunt a Sasquatch, it was always alone. Another thing about them is that 60% of them avoid humans and want to be left alone. The rest of them, like the one I just fought just now, attack humans and eat them for food or amusement. Now, I want to type and tell you how I got my superpowers, but I'm tired as hell, and this log is already bloated compared to my other logs. So I'm just going to end it here. Sorry for the disappointment, but worry not, I'll explain everything in the next log. But for now, that's all folks.